Hello and welcome back to another day of 90 days of web development. It is day 11 and it's Friday, or day 10. It's day 10. It's not day 11 yet. Next week we'll do day 11. Day 10 we will be what is that? 1/9 of the way done after today, which is what, 11% then, which will be good. I've been learning a lot. It's like amazing, like how much I've learned in the last 10 days, and then like looking forward and thinking like, how much am I gonna have learned after the next 10 days? It's like there's so much to get to, and I was like looking through. There's just not enough time to get through everything I would like to do, but gonna do a lot. So. What's up on the docket today? We've got review of yesterday's notes. We're going to do a quiz on CSS pseudo elements and classes, and we will tackle creating a multi-page app with Next.js. So hopefully we got some of the bugs wrinkled out with the Podman container, setting that up. So I think we're good to go there with the hot module replacement there. And then that'll be the end of the week there. Hopefully we can get through all of the chapter 6. That would be really nice. And then if there's some time left over, we'll do an extra little review. But first, we're gonna start with a quiz on pseudo elements. So let me get our Pomodoro timer set up for the session here. We do 10 Pomodoros of 24 minutes each, with a brief, 4-minute break in between, except for after 5. After 5, we do a 40-minute break. And so it's a nice way to break up the day and schedule it as 4 hours of real focus time. So let's get started with today's activities here. We got to go into responsive web design, and I got to start the timer. I didn't start the timer. We've got a quiz. Let me zoom in on this. Hopefully you can see this okay. And to pass this quiz, we're going to need to answer 18 out of the 20 questions correctly. So what is a pseudo? Which pseudo class is used to target form elements that are enabled? Form elements that are enabled. Maybe the one that says enabled, right? Otherwise, it would be disabled. Which pseudo class allows you to select elements by counting from the end? That's from the last child. The nth last child. And which of the following allows you to select elements that contain specific child elements? Which of the following allows you to select elements that contain specific child elements? I think that's has. And we looked at that yesterday, where you could also, rather than just look for elements, you could look for classes, elements that have that, a particular class. And I forget, I wonder if you can do it also with IDs as well, I suppose. Yeah. Which of the following selects elements that do not contain any content or child elements? Any content or child elements is empty. And there were some weird things. I couldn't really get the paragraph things to work for that. What does this CSS selector target? Invalid on the input. So you have an input element that has some invalid data entered into it, and then you're changing the background color to be red when that is the case. So you're selecting all elements that fail validation. No, all input elements that fail validation. Now, which Pseudo class selects input fields whose value is automatically filled by the browser. Autofill. So I guess you can mark a certain form to be autofillable. Which pseudo class selects an element if it is or any of its descendants is focused? I think that would be focused, right? Or focus within. So anything, yes, focus within was any of the descendants. Which pseudo class represents links that point to the same document? That was a local link, and it's apparently not a thing yet. It's not available in any browser. Which of the following styles the P element when it is the target of a URL fragment? That would be target. Here they say target as a class, but we want the actual pseudo class there. Which pseudo class is used when an element is the target of a URL fragment? Is that not what this is? It's just the same question back to back. What does the only child pseudo class select? Looks like we're going to select the parent element. No, selects an element that has no siblings inside its parent element. Well, it would have only one, right? Okay, yeah, there we go. Which pseudo class selects an element if it's the only one of its type within its parent? Oh my gosh, come on, right? The only of type. Okay, not only child, only of type. Now, which CSS rule will apply a color of yellow to the second P element in the following HTML? Color of yellow to the P element, to the second P element. So thinking this through without the multiple choice, we want to select the div, or we want to select div space P colon nth child or nth of type, and then do 2, right? Yes, I think that. So this will work because we're selecting all from all paragraphs. But if we wanted to really be more targeted, we should put the div in front of this so that we're looking at all descendants of div where P is the nth of type, where the paragraph is the second. Yeah, the second paragraph. That didn't make any sense. Hopefully it did. I don't know. Which pseudo element allows you to select the marker of list items for styling? Probably marker. And which pseudo class allows you to target the highest level element in the document, typically the HTML element? That's the root. They keep saying typically, they keep saying, usually, but we haven't seen any other case. And I have never, somebody please tell me, when can it not be HTML? When can root not be HTML? Which CSS pseudo class has a specificity of 0, ensuring it won't interfere with other specific styling rules? Is where. just similar to is, but just doesn't add any specificity. It doesn't have any specificity. Which one of the following is a tree structural pseudoclass? Tree structural. What is, wait, a tree structural pseudoclass? I think it would be root, right? Because that's referring to the structure of the document. Link is not really referring, that's referring to specific elements, not really structure. Valid, not really there. Where, not really, right? Which CSS rule will set the background color of the following element to red if its value is outside the specified range? Number min 10, max 25. So outside of the specified range. I guess out of range? I didn't really play around with those that much. Which pseudo element uses the content property to insert content after the element? That was after, and that's a really cool pseudo element. Really nifty to inject some content into styling. I think you can insert probably some like logos and things. Which pseudoclass applies styles to an element if its value is within the specified range? In range. That's got to be that one. I feel pretty good about this one. I am finished. Let's take a look back and make sure that we didn't get anything wrong. Incorrect here. I think we are all... Oh, we did not get this one right. Was I hasty? Was I too hasty? Only child selects the parent element that contains only one type of... Oh, it's no siblings inside of... Right, okay, selects the element. That's right, it was correct. I was just confused with the... Yeah, with the verbiage. That is correct. I should have thought that through a little better. Okay. And that's that one. And what's coming up next week? I think we'll do Tuesday. We're going to work with colors in CSS. We're going to build a set of colored markers and design a set of colored boxes. Do a review on Thursday and a quiz on Friday on that. And that'll be that week. So we're not doing a little bit light on the CSS next week. Outside of some other media. I might do that responsive web design book. But yeah, there we go. So that's going to do it for the quiz. Let's take a look at and review our notes from from yesterday. We looked at this, which one to choose for... Let me bring this up right here. Which one to choose for... Let me bring up the MDN docs too. Next.js versus React. React is a JavaScript library used to build user interfaces mainly for single page applications, and Next.js is a React framework that extends React with built-in features like routing and server-side rendering, and we'll explore that today. React focuses only on the UI layer and uses client-side rendering by default, while Next.js adds server-side rendering and static site generation (SSG) for better SEO and performance. React requires additional libraries for routing and backend APIs, whereas Next.js provides file-based routing and API routes out of the box. React offers more flexibility in setup, while Next.js gives a structured, production-ready architecture. React is a popular open source library built by Facebook for building reusable UI components with JavaScript or Typescript, widely used, but some developers are moving to Next.js. I mean, it still uses React though, does it not? So like, what's the difference? They're just extending to that. Okay. So built by Facebook for creating web UIs, components can be made with JS or TS, and then write once, use anywhere, unlimited times. I don't know what they're talking about there. Popular, though some shifting to Next.js. Okay, so the features of React are the JSX, the JavaScript syntax extension, virtual DOM, one-way data binding, and optimized rendering help improve code readability, data flow, and overall application performance. And let's see, transpiled by Babel since browsers don't support it. So it's whatever transpiled means. It's like compiled into JavaScript so that browsers can use it. And we have a virtual DOM. So the document object model also represents the structure of a web page, but updating it can entirely slow web apps, whereas React uses a virtual DOM for efficiency. You make changes to the virtual DOM first, then apply only the differences to the real DOM. DOM structures the web page and executes code in modules. Updating the whole DOM at once can make web applications slow. JavaScript frameworks usually re-render the entire DOM for changes. So this is what is interesting to me. Where does this happen? Where does this virtual DOM decision take place? So let's see. Oh, we're just referring back to this document. It's not anything. Okay. All right. Okay. Is that in the browser? Is the browser doing that? In which case, how does it do that? You have a browser that enables a virtual DOM, maybe? One-way data binding, is there something in here? No. Nothing there. Yeah. One-way data binding in React means data flows from parent to child, with child components using props to interact, but not directly modify parent data. Props cannot directly return to the parent, right? There's performance with the virtual DOM, enabling it to load faster, and then there's also like fewer calls to the server side, because lots of so there's like some other stuff that happens on the server side that you would normally need to query from the browser if you're just using React. So fast, efficient, and easy to learn for React, right? And it's got pre-built patterns and functions that work like building blocks, enabling fast, appealing, and scalable projects without coding everything line by line, and unlike Angular and Ember. Only requires basic HTML and CSS knowledge to get started. It's SEO friendly. Content in React pages is rendered via JavaScript, so search engines may need extra handling to index it properly. SEO ensures search engines like Google, Yahoo, or Bing can find the most relevant content for users. So write once, run anywhere. What do they mean by this? It enables web and mobile apps simultaneously with server-side rendering and extensive code reusability, allowing new features without rewriting existing code. It's simple. Limitations. The React limitations include sparse documentation, a steep learning curve due to constant updates, and JSX complexity that can be confusing for beginners. I don't find it too difficult so far. It's just HTML with some like templating stuff, you know? Lack of proper documentation. React has many tools and libraries like Redux and Reflux to boost performance. Updates frequently, but this rapid growth can lead to lack of proper documentation, leaving developers with only sparse guides. Okay, we haven't encountered that yet, so put it in our back pocket. Development speed. Yep, okay. Do it faster. Spin up things faster, especially if you use like Tailwind CSS. JSX complexity, a JavaScript extension that mixes HTML with JavaScript as JSX and makes React code more readable and clean. There's a lot of redundancy in this article here. And the combination of HTML and JavaScript and JSX make React harder to learn. I mean, if you know some basics, it shouldn't be that hard. Doesn't seem that hard. Beginners and some designers may find JSX confusing and unappealing. And so Next.js is an open source React framework made by Vercel. It enables fast SEO-friendly, production-ready apps and features like server-side rendering and smart bundling, unlike traditional client-side React apps. Built on React and created by Vercel. Okay, so features hot code reloading, right? There's hot module replacement, hot code reloading, fast refresh, however you want to refer to that. Allowing developers to see changes instantly without refreshing the page, making development faster and more efficient. There's automatic code splitting, which divides large JavaScript bundles into smaller parts, so only the required code loads for each page, making applications faster and lightweight. Ecosystem compatibility. Next.js integrates easily with the React and Node ecosystem, allowing developers to use existing React knowledge while benefiting from Next.js features. Server-side rendering in Next.js improves performance and SEO by rendering pages on the server first, enabling faster page loads and better search indexing. Automatic routing. Next.js simplifies routing by automatically generating routes from files in the pages directory and removing the need for manual route configuration. So I guess, is Next.js then a superset of React? Like everything you can do in React, you can do in Next.js because it uses React. So it's powerful and efficient, but comes with challenges like higher maintenance, vendor lock-in. So it follows its own standards, which can create vendor lock-in and limit flexibility in configuring tools like Webpack. So we use TurboPack. Complex routing in a smaller community. Sounds like it's building though. It said that lots of people were moving to that. So this was recent, just a couple months ago. So Oh, we got a quiz. Which statement best describes the relationship between React and Next.js? React is built on Next.js. Next.js is a framework built on top of React. Feature. Let's do this quiz. This is fun. This is a fun little quiz here. Let's do this. Which feature in React helps improve performance by updating only the changed parts of the DOM? Virtual DOM. In React's one-way data binding, how does data primarily flow? Server to the client. Parent to child through props. Okay. Which built-in feature of Next.js simplifies routing without requiring additional libraries? I don't know. I didn't read that part. Redux routing, manual routing configuration, file-based routing system, dynamic routing API. Sounds like file-based routing system would be useful. What is the main advantage of server-side rendering in Next.js? It improves SEO and initial page load performance. Which of the following features allows Next.js to load only the required JavaScript for a specific page? Only the required JavaScript. That's the virtual DOM, is it not? Or the automatic code splitting. And which difference between React and Next.js is correct? React provides built-in server-side rendering? No. Requires external rendering? No. React typically uses a single index file for application. It's got to be that one because this is not, that last one's not correct. Okay, not bad. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, let's get back to taking a look at our notes from the previous day. We looked at React server components, RSCs, and client components. So RSCs run exclusively on the server and can be asynchronous, unlike client components. They can fetch data directly from databases and interact with server resources, but can't perform JavaScript user interactions. RSCs offer good performance, productivity, and security benefits compared to client components. And once the RSCs have been run on the server, oh, there's this thing. It's a common practice to isolate some components in the app folder. I forget what that is. Rotating? What is that thing? Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at our notes here. Okay, I was hoping it would zoom to that part of the page, but apparently it wasn't. We should just do a full review of this at some point. Right, okay, so routing components. Isolate routing components in the app folder from other components using a components folder. And once the RSCs have been run on the server, the RSC output is serialized along with information to render. Then it's important to note that only the result of the RSC is serialized, not the function code. Client components run on the client. They can also run on the server during the initial load to pre-render parts that can be pre-rendered, which is what happens in Next.js. Next.js After initial load, client components are hydrated with the parts not covered by pre-rendering, which is generally interactivity. Okay. We must remember that client components can initially run on the server, but the server doesn't have access to the browser window object. Effects are never run on the server, they only run on the client. So first page load as a feature was fast in RSC but slow in client component. Access to secure resources is direct in RSC but via an HTTP call to a secure server on the client component. Interactivity is not supported in RSC, but full interactivity is in client components, and React hooks are very limited in RSC, but full support in client. Access to browser API is not supported, but full access in client components. And then we have this diagram of the client boundary, right, where we have these RSCs right here, and they're interacting with client components. All right, there's that part. Let's look over the summary. The summary for the chapter that brings us to the end of the section. A recap: Next.js is an app framework that supports RSCs. We use this to create our React project. In a Next.js project, components are RSCs by default, so layout and page are RSCs. We created a header RSC inside of the page RSC. We used the console to confirm that the components were RSCs and inspected HTML elements in the browser development tools area to see their serialized format, not font. That brings us to the end of the section. So we had another section, client components. They're necessary for interactive. Necessary for let me zoom in on this. Yeah, there we go. Necessary for interactive apps as they support features such as React hooks, event handling, DOM access. They initially run on the server and are later hydrated. With interactivity on the client, a client component requires a use client directive at the top of its file, while other components that are imported into a client component file automatically become client components, making use client not required for subsequent client components. And this goes to the saying that by default, layout and page are RSCs. So creating components by default are RSCs unless you specify use client in the top there. And there's restrictions then, right? You can't use effects if you're trying to use a RSC, so you gotta use client side. Finally, color mode toggle is the first client component in our app. It contains a state, an effect, and event handler, so it must be in a client component rather than an RSC. And then one more section. I thought we had a summary of the chapter, but maybe not. And composing RSCs with client components, so we kind of nested an RSC inside of a client component, and so it's recommended to start a new Next.js page with RSCs for simplicity and performance. Use client components only when additional functionality such as interactivity is needed. A client boundary is created when a component has a use client directive. All files that are imported afterwards become client components in that file, right? In that component and stuff. So while a client component cannot directly import an RSC can be passed as a prop. Okay. So we will get started with the next chapter here, and let me set up some notes for our section recaps. And let me see, is that 4? It is 4. Chapter, so we want to link to chapter 5, chapter 6. Chat per 6? Let's go 6. Chapter 6. Creating multi-page layouts there. And we want a link to the other stuff there. Okay. Sets us up for this here. What's going on here? Wait. Yeah, I think we messed up here, so let's move that one up. There we go. Okay. And we have all this stuff. So scratch. We had some notes on Next.js. Notes on how to spin up the container. Should open those up because we're gonna probably need those. npx nextdev webpack is what we were using. Okay, now I need to open up the book. Open up the book. Open up the book. Open up the book. Creating a multi-page app, and then we're going to go over into our terminal, and we're going to let me see, because we do have VS Code settings there, so we'll just podium this. Before we actually get into our server, our Podman container, we're going to start Podman and then start up our machine, Podman machine. And let's see what we need to do here. So far in this book, we've created apps with a single screen. And in this chapter, we'll learn how to create apps with multiple screens in Next.js, which was introduced in the last chapter. React doesn't include much of the functionality required to build multi-page apps. Next.js is a popular option that fills the gap. So we'll create a blog post app containing 3 screens, a home page, a posts page, and a post page. We will create a shared header on the screens and navigation options between them. We will also create a search feature and learn all about search features or search parameters. By the end of this chapter, we'll know how to build multi-page apps using Next.js. All right, so we're going to cover creating routes, creating navigation, creating a shared layout, and creating dynamic routes using search parameters. Interesting. Going to be interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. The technical requirements. We will use the following technologies in this chapter. We're going to use a browser. I'm using LibreWolf, which is a Firefox derivative. Not really a derivative. It's like kind of a fork of Firefox that has some extra privacy features and lacking like a lot of the telemetry that comes with modern Firefox and Chrome. We're going to need Node.js and npm. That's going to be provided by us by the node image that we use from Podman. And Visual Studio Code, we use VS Codium. All the code snippets used in this chapter can be found online, and I will copy the URL and share that with chat. And so creating routes. In this section, we'll create a Next.js project. We'll understand what routes are and how to create them. We'll use this knowledge to create a route that lists all of our blog posts. So we're going to create this project, and we're going to use NPX as well. We're not going to use Tailwind this time. Covered in the previous chapter, so the explanations are brief. So let's get started here. I did squash and merge our... let's do it over here. Git log one-liner here. We finished A9. I ended up merging that branch that we had into our main branch, and it should be available. Yes. What is the origin? Git remote is what it's called, right? Git remote. We need some more verbosity there, sir, please. And there's the link. Okay, it's not letting me do that. Okay, how do I copy this link? There we go. So link to all the stuff we have covered so far on in these books, in these apps, in these stiffs. Sir, clear this, and let's get going into our container, and we're going to use Node for this. We want to remove, want to run it interactively. We want to open a port for 3000, I think. This is where it runs. Localhost 3000 is where it's going to run. I'm going to have to look this up because I might forget some things. We're going to use NS keep ID, and we're going to enable watch pack polling. As a environment variable, and we're going to set the current folder as, oh, you know what? We need to go into WSL first. We need to access WSL first. Get into that terminal. CD up, no, exit out of that shell that they put us in, and put us back into this one that is inside of this folder. Want to get into my React TS, and then I want to go from here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do podman run rm to remove it after we're done. Run it interactively with a TTY terminal, and user ns keep ID. Open up port 3000. Enable watch pack polling as a environment variable, and app. The current folder will serve as our app folder in the container. And then we're going to set the workspace folder to just be that app folder. Right, and then the latest node version is what we'll use to source the image. And we're gonna run the bin bash command to start the bash terminal when we enter the container. And that spun up really quickly because we probably already had the image downloaded and everything. So we're there, and we're going to get started here. We're going to run this command, which will take a long time. So we're going to read forward once we start this. Really should be trying to run this on a different thing, shouldn't I? No Tailwind Turbo Pack. Okay. We're gonna create a Next app using the latest version. We're gonna call it blog. That's gonna be our folder that's created. We're gonna use Typescript. We're gonna use ESLint. We're gonna, what does app mean again? Let's go back to that previous page. When we set this up last time. App is an option that configures the project so that it uses the latest router variant, which is called the app router. Okay, so that's what that does. SRC is an option that configures whether the source code is in the SRC folder. And then import alias configures import path aliases. So we were using some of those as the defaults of at and \***. We're not going to use Tailwind, but we will have TurboPack, which I believe is like this thing, right? It's this. Wait, no, it's like the thing that pops up in the corner. It's like an extra tools for development. Okay, moving on to here. Okay, so all right, I think that's good to go. We're gonna run this. It's gonna take a while. Hopefully, by the time we get back from our next break, this will be installed, ready to go. Yep. Oh, that actually went pretty quickly. Initializing with template app. Initializing dependencies, Next React and React DOM. Types for Node, React, and React DOM, and then the ESLint config next. TypeScript. We didn't have to change anything, I don't think, with the next config, right? That ended up not being a thing. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. You can see that it's creating the blog folder for us there. And that's gonna take a while to run. So let's move forward just a slight bit. We're gonna say understanding routes. A route is a path in a web app that corresponds to a URL. Next.js has two types of routing systems, the page router and the app router. In this book, we'll focus on the more recently released app router, which our project has been configured with. So routes are defined using the folder structure in the app folder and a special file called page.tsx. We already have a home route defined for path /, which is the source /app/page.tsx file. To define a settings route, we would implement a source app settings /page tsx. That would be a settings page, a settings route. Okay, so the contents of page TSX is a React component, so it can be an RSC or a client component. The component component name can be a meaningful name of our choice. However, it's important that it is the default export. It must be the default export to allow Next.js to automatically detect and render the right component for a route. If it was a named export, it wouldn't know which one to use. Okay, so the important thing to know is that there's page router and app router. Page is a React component, can be either RSC or client. It's a default export. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and hopefully this will all be installed and we can move along. We're still loading here, so let's continue on reading here. So we're going to create a posts route following those steps. Then we're going to create some navigation. Then we're going to use a use router, a hook allows programmatic navigation. And then creating shared layout, understanding layout components. So we'll create a header as well. A head page or something, a home page. And we'll look at dynamic routes. Create a dynamic route from there. Creating a blog post dynamic route. And let's see, use and then search parameters here. All right, this seems doable in the time we have here, as long as we don't hit any snags. There is quite a few things we need to create, but I think we can do this. So what do we want to do while this is waiting? What do you do while it's waiting? Let's take a look at the calendar here. So coming up on the 26th, so we're going to take the Monday off. We're going to take Monday off. It's Memorial Day, and we'll have a nice weekend. And come back on Tuesday, and we'll explore using colors in CSS. We'll use there we go. Okay. So there's theory on working with colors in CSS. We're going to build a set of colored markers with a little workshop, and then we're going to do a lab on our own, which is design a set of colored boxes, and then that's going to be pretty much the whole day. Except for we might do some more stuff though, from the responsive web design book. On the 28th, which is going to be the Thursday, we're going to do a review on CSS colors. and we're going to do a quiz on that Friday. Looks like we are almost good to go here. So let's see. Oops, we want to close that one down. There we go. 2 moderate severity vulnerabilities. And a new version of NPM. Now, we're going to cd into blog, but we're not going to run that npm run dev. Actually, before we do that, what I'm going to do is copy the prettier. You can actually go copy app.prettier JSON to here. And we have that prettier RC JSON there. So we copied that over. And next, what we're going to do, let's clear this, and we'll do npx run dev webpack, I think is what we were saying, right? Or it was npx next dev webpack, I think is the one that we run. Npx next dev webpack will run with the hot coding enabled. Okay. We'll run the app that way. Yeah, here we are. We got this this going on here. We're gonna click through here, open up this in the browser, and hopefully this loads. Please, please, please load. Please. Oh, it's got to compile first, doesn't it? Right? It usually does that like compiling thing first. So it takes a moment to compile. While we're doing that, take a look at our git status, and we need to add, let's actually cd into React.js, into the blog, and then git status. We'll add, or actually first we need to create a branch. So we'll do checkout a branch for, can I like zoom in on this? I guess that's okay. I'm not thrilled with it, but it's a little too big. But we'll create a branch called day 10. Now we are in the double digits. We'll add that, and we'll get all that stuff, and then we'll add, and then we'll commit this as create project. Create the project, and that is for learn React with TypeScript. This is on page 176. So we are on step 5. Of this here. Okay, and let's see what we want to do. Let's see, is this running now? It is. Okay, so we do have that there. I'm gonna move this over this this side here. This is where we want this, and so we should have hot code replacement enabled as well. So when we do this, when we make changes, it should update automatically. It should recompile automatically. So globals, CSS, we want to grab the one from the React blog. And then, so once you're in here, what are we doing? We're going to overwrite the content with the CSS from the following file. We'll go ahead and share this with the chat here, and we're going to go download it from here. Let's take a look at what we can do. We want to edit the raw. What do we want to do? We want to download this sucker, and I'm just going to actually, you know, it's global CSS. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to override it. Go into our React.js. We're going to go into blog. We're going to go into src app globals. There it is. We're just going to override this. Override that one. There we go. And this will nicely style our app. Our app will be nicely styled. There it goes, and a little bit different, right? So that is kind of automatic with the CSS styling. Cool. Export default function home is what we'll do, and page. So we're going to open up page.tsx and replace all of its content with the following. We're just going to replace everything with default function home. We're going to return some JSX here. Main. I like how it just like assumes that may is a an element. Very nice. Autocomplete. Welcome to my blog. Welcome to my blog. Wait, we can't do formatting? Really? Doesn't care about that that one. There we are. There's our blog. Centered on there. So we'll commit these changes. Take a look at the status. Globals and that. So we'll get add src. And we will say that we are finished create project. And we are gonna be on page 177 of Learn React with TypeScript. Okay, now let's understand routes. We took a look at this before, but let's give it another look. So a route is a path in a web app that corresponds to a URL. Next.js has two types of routing systems, a page router and an app router. In this book, we'll focus on the more recently released app router, which our project has been configured with. Routes are defined using the folder structure in the app folder. So we have the app folder in here, right? And what else? Special file called page.tsx, which we have taken a look at there. We already have a home route defined for path / which is the source app page.tsx. To define a settings route, we would implement a source app settings page.tsx file. The contents of page.tsx is a React component. Can be an RSC or a client component. The component can, the name can be a meaningful name of your choice. However, it's important that it is the default export. Must be the default export to allow Next.js to automatically detect and render the right component for a route, which if it was named a named export, it wouldn't know which one to use. Must be the default export default. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I will dive a little bit deeper into JavaScript in the future, and we will hopefully fill in those gaps. We will create a posts route, and if we don't, then it might not have been that important. Creating a posts route, carry out the following steps to create a posts route in our app. So we're going to create a post route. Let's go ahead and get this one here. Let me, yeah, here we go. So in the app folder, we're going to create a posts page. So for a, yeah, so we're going to create a folder first. So we're going to make a directory. It's going to be in the src app folder, and we're going to call it posts. Then we can touch a file named src app posts page.tsx. We'll create a file inside there, and then what we can do is we can open up page.tsx from posts. There we go. Hide the Explorer there on the sidebar. We're going to export a default function named posts now. Oops, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Returning some JSX here. We're just main h2 is going to be posts, and then we're going to just have the start of an unordered list right there, and the component outputs a heading and an empty list at this stage. And if we go to our local host routes and go to posts, now that creates did it do anything though? Because it didn't change. Okay, there we go. For some reason, it didn't like going to that endpoint. Maybe I did it too quickly. It didn't finish compiling. So we're gonna add some post data on this page. We're gonna start by creating a data folder. In the src folder, so we're gonna make a directory called src/data, and then so if we look at yeah, and then we'll fill it with a file called posts. src/data /posts.ts. Yes, okay, then we'll open that up. And if I look back over here, you'll see that now we have an app. An app folder and a data folder inside of here, inside of source. Okay, now creating a data folder there, we're going to copy this stuff here, but I want to see if maybe it's see, is that all it is? It's just that? No, it's quite a bit of stuff. So I don't know why I needed to create that file. I'm just gonna download it. Just gonna download it right into our folder, and it's gonna override that post tsx, and then we'll just do that, and then it should propagate there. There we go. Okay, nice. Now, if I go back to here, will it reload? I don't know if it detected any changes here. I think maybe we have to restart. Although no, because we're not actually calling it. It's just the data. The data is just there. We need to actually call it. So that's what we need to do. So inside of page.tsx in our posts, import posts. from data post, and that auto completes to that. And then inside of our UL, we're gonna fill out this list with a list of list of posts using posts.map. We're gonna map the data inside of posts to, let's see, li key is there, and then we're going to have a span inside with a post.title and p post description. And is that it? Is that good? Is that good? I'm not getting any errors. It looks pretty good. There we go. Wow, look at that. There's some data. There's some data for us. Okay, so the posts variable is imported and used in the JSX to loop through its array to output list items. Using array.map is a common practice for JSX looping logic. And if you want to understand a little bit more about that, I have done some of that stuff in tutorials. If you look at my Tutorial Tuesday series, somewhere around there we were working with array methods. So there you go. You can also find that on Free Code Camp. What I was doing was the old archived JavaScript data structures and algorithms course that they had. You can also just look up on here on MDM docs. If you look at array.map, yeah, this will tell you what's happening. Okay, we want to notice the key attribute of the list item elements. React requires this on elements in a loop. To update the corresponding DOM elements efficiently, the value of the key attribute must be unique and stable within the array, so we have used the post ID. Okay. Gotcha. So you need to set a key. This is something to take note of. I think I need to just take a moment to clip this little this here. You know what? Excuse me. I need to set the right color. Quote. Page. There we go. There we go. Okay. And we looked at the post route in the browser. It now contains a list of blog posts. And then that completes the section on creating routes. The key point is that routes in Next.js are created using app folder structure and page TSX files. For more information, we can take a look at the Next.js documentation. And I'll share that with chat as well. Create the layout. You know what? We need to save. I need to just update something here because I think I'm going a little too much here. Hopefully that doesn't fuck things up.